So it looked like DiJonai Carrington just got booted from the Dallas Wings.
DiJonai, your game was stinking in the mud, and the Dallas Wings wanted nothing to do with you going forward.
Fooled. A year ago, I thought DiJonai Carrington was good at basketball. I was fooled. And if you guys appreciate my honesty, that I actually thought DiJonai was good at basketball, and I will admit that I'm wrong, subscribe. We are trying to hit 56k by the end of the day, and we are 98 subscribers off. But lads, DiJonai Carrington is just terrible at basketball.
What do you call a player so reckless? Even the refs need backup. DiJonai Carrington. The Dallas Wings have officially cut ties with one of the most controversial figures in the league, and honestly, it was long overdue, from poking Caitlin Clark in the eye during the playoffs, to injuring her own teammate Paige Bueckers while targeting Jessica Shepard. Carrington's track record reads like a suspension waiting to happen. She caused such chaos during a game against the Chicago Sky that officials had to call in security. For flagrant fouls this season alone say it all. No wonder Dallas was done. If you think it's time for the league to move on to drop a fire. Carrington in the comments. Let's go.
DiJonai Carrington couldn't keep her hands clean either. Would stand out of headlines on the internet. She was always in headlines, punching players in the eye. And then we have to remember, she nearly injured Paige. Like, everybody forgot about that. Y'all remember when she nearly injured Paige, nearly took her whole knee out? Like, we got to remember all of those things transpired during this basketball season, man. For her to tell you, they made it their business to get rid of her.
Before we get into how Carrington got the boot from Dallas, let's talk about why they finally showed her the door. There's a big difference between being a tough defender and being a liability, and it all comes down to intent. DiJonai Carrington didn't just cross the line, she lived on the other side of it. Her so-called highlight reel looks more like a list of injury reports. It all started with the moment that put her under the microscope. The infamous eye poke on Caitlin Clark during the 2024 playoffs. Clark ended up with a black eye, and the entire basketball world was left asking, was that even basketball anymore?
DiJonai, you're always in a dirty play. DiJonai, once again, here we are today. Oh, DiJonai.
Picture this. First round playoffs, Connecticut Sun versus Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark rises for one of her signature shots. DiJonai Carrington steps in to defend. But what happens next isn't just aggressive defense, it's something else entirely. Carrington's hand strikes Clark directly in the face, zeroing in on the eye. The hit wasn't subtle. Clark's head snapped back from the impact, and she immediately clutched her face in pain. The rookie phenom who had carried the Fever all season was left with a glaring black eye, one that quickly became the defining image of the playoffs.
As everyone else is seeing this angle, I'm calling her in, and I'm saying to her, I need answers.
But here's what most people don't realize about that play. The aftermath revealed just how intentional Carrington's aggressive style really is. While Clark dealt with the visible injury, Carrington showed zero remorse, no apology, no concern. Not even a hint that she might have gone too far. Instead, she doubled down, embracing the chaos like it was part of her brand. It wasn't just physical play anymore, it was personal. And she made it clear she had no regrets.
And kind of swatted at Caitlin. Did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that play?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am.
Fast forward to June 4th against the Seattle Storm, and the same pattern repeats itself. Skylar Diggins is on a fast break, driving hard to the basket. As she goes up to score, Carrington steps in, but instead of making a legitimate play on the ball, she goes straight for Diggins' head. The contact was blatant. The refs didn't hesitate, they hit her with a flagrant one foul on the spot, because let's be real, this wasn't defense. This was targeting a star player, plain and simple.
Will give us a couple of different angles. Corrections of games. Wins the tip. Diggins, who's still fast, gets down the floor, buries it, draws the foul, but is shaken up.
Fans and analysts didn't take long to connect the dots. These weren't isolated incidents anymore, this was a pattern. The same reckless contact, the same dangerous targeting of star players' heads and faces. One fan summed it up perfectly: that's not physicality, that's a trash play from a dirty player who doesn't belong on the court. Public outrage only grew louder with each flagrant foul. And rightfully so. Take the June 4th hit on Skylar Diggins. At first glance, it might have seemed like a tough contest, but when the replay rolled from different angles, it was clear 100% not a basketball play. You could see the intent, you could feel the recklessness. The refs knew it too, signaling immediately that this one would likely be upgraded. DJ, do you even remember what sport you're playing? This isn't MMA. Each incident seemed worse than the last.
Good defender. She can't shoot. She's not a good scorer at the rim. She can't really dribble. She has low IQ. She is a decent, good rebounding guard, I guess, and she's good in transition. I thought she was good at basketball because AT and the sun whistle made it look like she could play defense. No, she just runs around hacking people. She has a really good ability to hand check with her left hand while swiping across your body with her right hand, hitting all body and getting away with no calls.
The Caitlin Clark eye poke became the blueprint for understanding every foul that followed: aggressive, unnecessary, and always directed at star players. Whether it was a veteran like Diggins or a rising icon like Clark, Carrington's approach stayed the same: target the face, disrupt the game, and stir chaos. And just when it felt like it couldn't get worse, it did. May 21st against the Minnesota Lynx showed just how dangerous Carrington had become. In the heat of a fast break play, Jessica Shepard goes up for a shot, and here comes Carrington, flying in like a wrecking ball. But instead of going for a clean block, she once again goes for the face. In doing so, she not only hits Shepard, she also ends up injuring her own teammate, Paige Bugers, in the process. Let that sink in. Carrington was so focused on causing damage, she took out someone on her own squad. The foul was called flagrant immediately. It was that obvious. The contact was excessive, the intent was reckless, and the result was a perfect snapshot of everything wrong with her game. DJ Carrington isn't just physical, she's reckless.
She makes highlight defensive plays and honestly, she gets a couple of chase down blocks, but she's more likely to get a chase down volleyball spike to the opponent's head than she is to get a chase down block. And she's athletic. I will give her that. DiJonai is athletic. She is not good at basketball. On the year, I actually can't believe she's averaging 10.4 points per game. She is doing it on 35% from the field and 26% from three. What in the Andre Roberson is this? Like, she is shooting Andre Roberson shooting percentages.
She's dangerous, and at this point, the question isn't if. She should still be in the league. It's why she still was for this long. It was obviously intentional and undeniably dangerous. Carrington reached around Jessica Shepard's body under the guise of going for a block, but the result had nothing to do with clean defense. Yes, she made contact with the ball, but it's what happened next that raised red flags. After the initial block, Carrington's arm violently followed through, catching Shepard square in the face. The replay on the Jumbotron made it crystal clear. This wasn't just incidental contact, it was a reckless, unnecessary motion that left no room for doubt. And the chaos didn't end there. In the very same play, Carrington's out-of-control movement ended up putting her own teammate, Paige Bugers, at serious risk. Bugers got caught in the fallout of Carrington's aggressive attempt, nearly becoming collateral damage in a moment that had nothing to do with real basketball. Think about that. One player creating this much destruction in a single sequence. That's not tough defense, that's a complete lack of control. You have to be laser focused on causing disruption, not winning to create this level of chaos.
Without Andre Roberson defense, at least Andre Roberson could lock down. And she's on a max. This is like imagine if the Thunder gave a worse version of Andre Roberson a max contract. She's been benched. She got benched for the fourth quarter of the last game. She scored 4 points against Indiana. 4 points. And I'm actually shocked that she's...
Even her teammates started to take notice. Bugers and others on the wings began showing visible frustration, and who could blame them when you're constantly worried about getting hurt by your own teammate in practices and games? There's a serious problem. And Carrington's reaction? Laughing it off, denying any wrongdoing, acting like it was just part of the game. But let's be real, there's a difference between physicality and recklessness. She wasn't being a disruptor like Draymond Green. She was out there playing. Pat Bev ball chaotic, reckless, and dangerous. This wasn't just a dirty play. It was a complete breakdown in professionalism and accountability. Even the Minnesota Lynx players and coaches looked stunned. You could see the disgust on their faces as they watched Carrington target a player's face while nearly injuring her own teammate. It was clear to everyone on that court. This wasn't aggressive basketball anymore, this was a hazard. That moment exposed the truth. Carrington's style wasn't just dangerous to her opponents. It was dangerous to everyone around her, including the team that was supposed to have her back. No wonder Dallas had enough at some point. Dallas management had to face the truth. DiJonai Carrington wasn't an asset, she was a liability. When your own player becomes a threat to both team chemistry and player safety, you're not building a winning culture anymore. You're creating a ticking time bomb where nobody feels safe on or off the court. Was the foul on Jessica Shepard a flagrant one? Yes. Could it have been a flagrant 2? Absolutely. But the most dangerous part of that play wasn't just the hit, it was the fallout. Paige Buchers, Carrington's own teammate, ended up breaking Shepard's fall, putting her body directly in harm's way. She could have torn her knee. She could have been out for the season, all because Carrington wanted a viral moment, wanted her kick fan face meme. And sure enough, as soon as the foul happens, Carrington turns to Shepard and puts on that exact look, like she's chasing internet clout instead of playing real basketball. Once you start endangering your own teammates while trying to take out opponents, you've crossed a line no team can ignore. This wasn't about physicality anymore. This was a player whose toxic style had infected everything around her teammates. Game flow, even officiating. Refs began treating Carrington differently after that. They knew they weren't just dealing with a physical player, they were dealing with someone who couldn't control her emotions or her actions. And then came the moment that defined it all. May 30th, 2025. Dallas Wings versus Chicago Sky. Final score 97-92. Sky win. Emotions are running high, but what happened after the buzzer is what made WNBA history. During a tense post-game exchange with referee Roy Golbian, Carrington's behavior escalated so quickly, so unpredictably, that Golbian did something we've never seen before. He called for security. It's right. A trained professional used to handling heated conversations with elite athletes felt unsafe enough to request backup. Let that sink in. This wasn't a typical argument. This wasn't about a missed call. Something in that exchange told Golbian that the situation was volatile, unpredictable, and dangerous. When was the last time you saw a ref call for security to protect themselves from a player? Welcome to the DiJonai Carrington experience, and people took notice. Fans, analysts, even creators like Zach Dean on Kick, who said it best. WNBA player who tried to rip Caitlin Clark's eye out has security called on her by a ref. I mean, who wants to catch a stray eye gouge just for making a call? It sounds wild, but that's how far this had spiraled. Carrington's actions weren't just disruptive. They were threatening, dangerous, and for Dallas, it was the final straw.